And we are back again with Steve Hergott this time, who's been a Normie member for a long time now. And Steve, we've done a lot of interviews in the past, and I've always enjoyed doing them, especially when I ask you about HVAC. I think that's your world, and
My world.
and we're going to go there today. But I do want to mention that you are an author. You have a published book, Healthy Harmless Homes.
Correct.
Want to do a shameless plug and hold up your book there real quick?
Plug. I happen to bring a copy with me today, so
There you go.
I wrote this right before COVID. It's a primer on indoor air quality, and it's focused on HVAC solutions to indoor air quality problems. So that's the theme of this book. So here it is.
Well, and that's what we talk about, all the indoor air quality, and that's what this is about. But what I wanted to ask you about, what's new in the HVAC industry? Because I know you're really on top of that stuff. So what's going on with it?
Yeah, so I work in the Boston market HVAC. It's my full-time job, I'll say.
Just if you would keep the mic a little closer. I got
Okay,
all the
gotcha.
speakers
All
right
right.
here.
So the big trend in New England, but really across the country, is we're calling it electrification. That means we're converting from fossil fuels like natural gas and oil, and houses and commercial buildings are going all electric, which really means heat pumps. So that's our big trend, which sounds simple enough, but it's a real challenge to retrofit an existing building that, say, now has natural gas heat to go to all heat pumps.
Have you noticed any issues with supply of electricity in those environments? Because I've noticed locally, with all the people now switching over to electric cars and everything else, the voltages that are coming into homes and businesses are lower.
Yeah, so that's going to be a challenge down the road. We've not seen a big problem, but sometimes in some of the larger homes that they might have, say, 200 amps of service, which used to be plenty. Now they have to upgrade to 400 amps, which is a significant investment, may not even be possible at some locations. So that's
Well, I know the electric companies have been sending out notices, warning people about overusing things, leaving their vehicles plugged in, charging all the time. It's overloading the grid. So switching over to these all electric heating and cooling systems, I mean, that to me would be a concern, though I understand the benefits of doing it.
It's going to be a huge concern. Yeah, we don't think the grid can support all that's going to happen HVAC wise. And then you throw in electric vehicle charging stations. It's going to be an issue for sure.
So what's the advantage of the electrical heating and cooling systems that you guys are switching to?
Great question. I'd say it's not an operating cost benefit usually, because natural gas is way more affordable to heat, especially in the northern climates. The benefit is for the environment. That's why the folks are doing it. They want to do what's right for the environment. So that's why they want to put in heat pumps.
I agree with that. And I see a lot of people doing things like electric vehicles, changing away from natural gas and propane and stuff like that. However, I think the challenge that we're all going to be facing is the limitations of what's available right now. It's almost like this time the technology is ahead of the curve. We usually wait for the technology. Now we're ahead of it.
Yeah. And back on the technology, it's amazing now that heat pumps have gotten so efficient that we're able to produce efficient indoor heat at outdoor temperatures down to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Every time I say that, it sounds like magic.
And that's with electric pumps.
Electric heat pumps, yeah.
Does any of that work with thermal transfer?
Meaning
as far as the deep earth thermal circulation.
So that's also, I'm glad you brought that up. So that's another trend. I'll say again, the Boston market I know best. Geothermal is making a comeback. It had its day about 10, 15 years ago, and now it's making a comeback. Yes.
Yeah, I saw systems that were being installed, like you said, 10, 15 years ago, some even a little bit longer. And it was, to me, it always confused me. How does that heat or cool? But it's really doing it without the compression.
Yeah, so it's doing it because we know the earth temperature when you dig down into the earth is approximately 50 degrees Fahrenheit, right? Plus or minus. So that's easy. If you think about it, that's easier to pump up the heat from 50 degrees Fahrenheit to where you want to heat it in the house as opposed to minus 20-degree air, right? It's way more efficient.
Well, interesting. At least there's options out there, but again, it's still all electric powered.
All
There's no other way to power things
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. So the latest technology to get a little, maybe a little technical. I don't want to get too technical. So air to air source heat pumps are we extract the heat from the air and then we blow the air into the house. Air to water heat pumps are now getting more popular and being brought to America from Europe. So there we extract the heat from the air, but then we put it into water so that we can circulate that water for radiant heat, cast iron radiators, those kind of things. So that's for the New England market. That's the retrofit market. There's a lot of homes and businesses that have forced hot water heat.
It's funny because the newer technology of doing that is using older technology to deploy it.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yep.
Interesting. That's a big twist.
That's a big twist.
So how does any of that affect indoor air quality? Because now you're getting away from forced air.
Yeah, yeah, that's another great question and a great point. So when we have forced air heating and cooling in a home, we can filter the air, we can humidify the air, we can dehumidify the air, we can filter the air, we can add air purification technology. Yeah, but if we have forced out water heat, then yeah, none of that applies. We need portable type indoor air quality.
The standalone equipment.
Standalone equipment.
I mean, even things like just ceiling fans help in those situations.
Ceiling fans help. Correct. Yep.
So, well, interesting. So, is that in your book? Things that we're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's not in my book. That's probably the next book, I've either got to upgrade, I either have to upgrade this book, right, and put some more chapters in it or write another book. But all that takes time. I wish I had more time, but
Well, I think that's going to be the sequel to this book because this one is good.
Yeah.
And the sequel of just all this new stuff
Yeah.
that is really just now starting to come out.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in the industry or not. Have you seen anything with AI, the artificial intelligence, in the heating system
Yes.
for cooling?
Yeah. So I get a weekly magazine called the HVAC News. Almost every week now, there's articles about AI either being used by contractors or being used by manufacturers. Yes, definitely.
When we do our classes, we talk about a lot of the technology and the changes. And whenever we mention AI, I'm not dealing with that. I want nothing to do with it. I don't understand it. And unfortunately, we're in a world that things are changing so quickly. You don't have a choice.
Don't have a choice. No.
It's you can't fear the technology. You have to embrace it because left behind's not even a valid term any longer. If you don't.
Yeah, I've actually started experimenting with it. So almost every day now, I ask a question of my AI app on my phone, and it's been fun. I've even got my wife doing it. I never thought she'd go down that road, but she's even have fun with it.
It's truthfully in everything we do. There's a company out there now that's handling the AI development of most cars developed in Europe, some coming over to the US. Main chain stores, restaurants are now using that for their online ordering. You don't even know you're talking to a computer and they're taking your order, answering your questions. So it's there. You have to use it. And I can understand where HVAC is definitely going to be there. I know years ago we had computers controlling our temperature in commercial buildings and relative humidity and making adjustments. So it's been there, just more advanced now.
Yeah, it's almost a little scary because we have to, like you said, we have to stay up with the technology. The older I get, I feel like it's more and more of a challenge to stay up with the technology.
Yeah, but to stay engaged in this industry.
Yeah.
And truthfully, it's concerning, but it's also an exciting time for the industry.
Yeah.
Because there's so many advancements and so many things making healthier, safer, cleaner environments for people.
And then you toss in the government and the Department of Energy is involved. So right now we're phasing out the current refrigerant that is used in all HVAC equipment, which is called R410A. That's phasing out the end of December. And starting January 1st, all manufacturers have to use new refrigerants that are friendlier to the environment. So again, it's September already, and we're not being educated yet by the manufacturers about what's coming at us in January.
Will the newer refrigerants work in the older equipment?
We don't think so. No, we don't think so.
Because many people have 5,
Yeah.
10, 15-year-old air conditioning
Yeah.
compressors and they do leak
Yeah.
and they need to be filled.
Yeah, well, we'll still be able to buy that R410A
Oh,
refrigerator
okay.
because that happened with when R22 got phased out. It's probably 15 years ago now. We could still buy it. In fact, even today, you can still buy R22 refrigerant because there's equipment, rooftop equipment still has that in it. So we can still buy it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I appreciate the update and we're going to have you back when you get some more information on this
All
changeover.
right. Well, this
So
is
thank you.
always fun to interact with you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank
All
you,
right.
Steve.